Welcome back, True Seeker. It is Saturday, October 19th, 2024, and want to quickly revisit yesterday's big news out of Cuba, where their national power grid went down. Thanks to the Spanish speakers in the community, I picked up on a huge detail that everyone needs to know about because this is way bigger than Cuba. But then I also want to talk about Donald Trump's stunt of going to Philadelphia the weekend of Kamala's 60th birthday, just before the 60th US presidential election, to pass out fries at a McDonald's, at least supposedly, an unnamed McDonald's where one of his friends owns it. Again, Kamala said that when she was growing up, she worked at a McDonald's in the Bay Area, and the Trump administration is trying to say this is a lie. And we're going to get to again why it matters, this connection with Philadelphia and the Bay Area. It's big. The Liberty Bell from Philly spent time in the Bay Area. The Warriors, the big basketball team, they started out in Philly. They're now in the Bay Area. The Athletics, they started out in Philly. They're in the Bay Area on their way to Vegas. There's a reason for the connection between Philly and the Bay, and we're going to revisit what that is and what this ritual really reveals. It's very obvious once you know the connection. And it goes back to why Donald Trump really runs on mega, the highest degree of the Church of Satan. Because again, the Church of Satan was founded in the Bay Area, and in the Bible, it's the Church of Philadelphia that gets the letter about the synagogue of Satan. And you might have noticed on the same day that Trump said he'll be at this McDonald's, Peacock/NBC put out a new documentary about the Satanic Panic, which was happening at the same time Ray Kroc died, the guy who's known as the founder of McDonald's. We're going to put all this together. But this is actually the more important story right now. And again, you guys, I don't promote fear. I promote awareness and preparation. And sadly, the world we live in, it is ruled over by ugly and scary people, if you will. And what happened to Cuba yesterday was no accident. It was another demented ritual. Again, just like how earlier this year on July 19th, the 201st day of the leap year, we had an international tech outage that caused all kinds of hiccups for people, especially those who were relying on flights that day. And in this case, Cuba's power grid goes down on the anniversary of Event 201. And we talked about this yesterday, so if you missed that video, go back and check it out. Here's the new piece. I did talk about the name of the town where the power went out on the day leaving 74 days left in the year. Again, this happened October 18th, the day leaving 74 days left in the year. The name of the town is Matanzas, which means pig killings. If you look it up, that's literally what it translates to, swine killings or pig killings. Now, remember, in Gematria, just like how the word energy equates to 74, the word killing also equates to 74. And this calendar system that we're on, the Ides of March, to remember the killing of Caesar by stabbing, is on the 74th day of the year, March 15th. In this nation, the U.S., 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents, think about that, 3 of the first 5 died on 7/4. And what all 3 of those men had in common was they had a problem with the Catholic Church, and 2 of them were very outspoken about the Jesuits, who no doubt run Cuba just like they run this nation. Go back and see what they did to Castro. And, you know, this comes right after the hurricanes that rocked Florida, where there's a lot of Cuban immigrants, and the Tampa area just got hit, where the mayor's Castor, and we talked about the significance of that. But remember, the qualifying wind speeds for a hurricane, something that's deadly, is 74 miles per hour, and that's not an accident. There's 74 numbers all around death, all throughout history. The World Trade Centers, they were on the 74th meridian west, to make a long story short. But pig killings or swine killings, again, this power station that went out, that provides power to the entire island, again, it's in the town of Matanzas. And again, just to read here, the Spanish word means slaughter or killing, It can also refer to slaughtering season, a slaughterhouse, a butcher shop, or a meat market. It is usually used in Spanish in regards to pig slaughter. A matanza is a centuries old Spanish tradition of slaughtering a pig and preparing the meat for winter. So here we are in the fall, winter's approaching, and I'm going to get to just how perfect this is. The tradition is typically held in the fall and involves soaking the pig in hot gunny sacks to soften its bristles for shaving. The pig is then quartered and cooked in a pit. And then it's also the port in Cuba where the power plant is, where the power just went down. And what's wild is from October 18th, the day of the power outage, to the winter solstice, December 21st, that's a span of 65 days. The word swine equals 65. Of course, common word for pig, swine. And you could also say, rather than counting the span of days, you could say from October 18th to December 21st is 64 days later. As we know, the word kill is 64, like the spaces on a chessboard. And that's what these people do every single day. They make moves by a code. It's chess on a high level. And in light of this being on the anniversary of Event 201 and the tech outage happening on the 201st day of the leap year, don't forget that International Chess Day, founded in France, where the Jesuits are from, who gave us the calendar and the language. Don't forget that International Chess Day is the 201st day of the year. Also, if you've ever read George Orwell's book, Animal Farm, the slaughter of swine might ring a bell. I noticed that the country, or not the country, the port of Matanzas, it's existed since 1693. That means this year it turned 337 years old. Or excuse me, I'm misspeaking. It's early in the morning. 331 years old. 331 years old. 331 is the 67th prime number. If you're new here, 67's a killing number. The word killing equals 67. You see it a lot in celebrity deaths. Satanic is 67, like soul, but phrases like blood sacrifice and human sacrifice are 67. What else is interesting is Eric Blair equates to 67, and Eric Blair is George Orwell's real name. And I mean, is that a coincidence, or is it all part of one big sick joke? Because, of course, George Orwell wrote Animal Farm in 1984, which you could argue are two of the greatest works of fiction ever in terms of predictive programming for the world we'd be living in at this moment in history, where people are ruled over by tyrants who control the world through fear and screens, who are constantly changing history, who are changing language in real time to manipulate people. I mean, are we not here? So again, don't live in fear. I mean, look at me. I got a little girl that's just a couple weeks away. Could be going through all this with a little baby in my arms. But again, an ounce of preparation is worth a pound of cure. If they pull the plug on your neck of the woods like they did Cuba yesterday in the middle of winter, and we did see this happen, we accurately forecasted the storms that blacked out Houston for over a week, parts of Atlanta, my home city, Portland. We accurately forecasted what was coming that Valentine's Day when it did. It was all told through the predictive programming. Now, this ritual being synced up with the first day of winter, they could do something as soon as the first day of winter, but they also, it looks like they're targeting the winter season, just like how this tradition goes with what you do in fall to prepare for the winter. So again, I will remind you one more time, if you sit here and you've heard me say for all this time that you should be having a little, prep, meaning you have water on hand, you have non-perishable food. If it is the winter, you have things to keep warm, like a really good winter outfit, blankets, things that could come in the clutch, first aid kit, flashlights, batteries, protection device. All these things could turn out to be, your best friend in such a scenario. And remember, you guys, we do live in a world where they had it etched up in stone, the Georgia Guidestones, for 42 years, their intentions for the world, to reduce the population, to save the earth. And the number set on there was 500 million. If there are real intentions to make that happen at some point or progressively over a period of time, They say there's about 8 billion people right now. So do the math. 7.5 billion would have to go. That would be 17 out of 18 living people right now? No, sorry, it's early. That'd be 15 out of 16. 15 out of 16. I had one of these days where I woke up at 2:30 in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep. So I was like, why not just get back to work? There's always more work to do. So anyhow, 15 out of 16 is a lot of people. It's most people. If you look in your neighborhood, I live in a small neighborhood right now. There's about 40 people in here. About 3 of us might still be alive. You know what I mean? So might not even be that. It might be just 2. But yeah, if you missed yesterday's video, I also pointed out how this ritual came 25 days before the Superior General's birthday. Again, that's who's behind these rituals. 201 is the number of the Jesuits. And yesterday I talked about how energy and grid both equal 25. It made sense that the energy grid went down 25 days before his birthday in the ritual. But notice the word swine also has the 25 connection. Again, if you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers of the English language: alphabetic order forwards, alphabetic order in reverse, both orders with numerology. So yeah, this is a sick joke. And again, this is how the cabal looks at the people of the world. And they've set traps to justify perceiving the world as swine. They set all these little traps, and I think that's how their moral code is. They're like, if you fall for our traps, no doubt you are swine. You deserve to be washed away from the earth, like it's Genesis 6:6, as Helene makes landfall 66 years to the day and people don't catch on. Don't know about the long history of weather warfare and how it was first admitted to on the Jesuit order's birthday. Speaking of the Jesuits, let's talk about 2 of their favorite agents right now on the scene in the USA, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Donald Trump and Joe Biden, another Jesuit pairing. But again, this right here, just Donald Trump, the ongoing wrong. I mean, we've been talking about Donald Trump and McDonald's since forever. So here we are. We're just weeks away from the election. It's fast food nation, literally. It's fast food nation, literally. This is how they appeal to the voters, the people that still vote in these rigged selections. Again, nobody's vote counts for anything. The winner's already chosen. It's already been over. None of these elections have counted in our lifetime. Your vote hasn't made one lick of difference other than validating the lie. But look at this. Look at this. And for the person to come by and say, well, then tell me who's going to win. How many more times do I got to do it? Did I not do it in 2020 and 2016? I've been doing it. Trust me, I've been doing it for all of my adult life. Okay? Don't need to do it anymore. It's not making a difference. What should make a difference is what I'm about to present to you about this ritual this weekend with McDonald's and what McDonald's really is, as well as this nation. So notice, here we are. Trump's doing this again the weekend of Kamala's 60th birthday. Again, just before the 60th election. Remember, Kamala started dating Willie Brown when he was 60 years old and she was in her 20s. It's how she climbed the political ladder in California. Remember, Donald Trump on July 14th. It's funny, July 14th is actually the anniversary of the death of the guy who designed the McDonald's logo, Dick McDonald, Richard McDonald. But July 14th was the day that Trump came out early in the morning and he said, I'm going to be running in the next election. And we pointed out that day, we said, isn't it funny that Trump comes out exactly 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit nation year, Mr. Jesuit educated Donald Trump, and says he's going to run in the 60th election? And of course, in Gematria, Donald Trump equals 60. But then a few hours later, that same day, the headline broke that Trump's ex-wife fell down the stairs and died. And then remember, they buried her on the 201st day of the year, just a few days later on July 20th. And he had his first child, Donald Trump Jr., with her on the 201st day of his age. And the leader of their wedding ceremony, his name was 201, which is quite common with these Jesuit priests. And it goes with Joe Biden sacrificing his son, Beau, 201 days before the first Jesuit Pope's birthday, and Inauguration Day being on the 201st day of the nation's age on 20/1. But anyhow, both of these people have been participating in these 60 rituals So now here's Trump, again, the weekend of Kamala's 60th birthday, working at the Golden Arches, right? So that's what McDonald's is known for, the Golden Arches. 60 like Donald Trump. Kamala going to turn 60 on Sunday. Now, again, Philadelphia and the Bay Area. Kamala claimed to have worked at a McDonald's in Oakland. Donald Trump's going to the McDonald's in Philadelphia, an unnamed McDonald's in a major city that supposedly his friend owns. Kamala's been doing a lot in Philly recently, too, because she was in Philly the day Trump went through the assassination HOAX, again, on July 13th, 13 weeks from the anniversary of the establishment of the Secret Service under the 13 stripes. Keep in mind, M, the McDonald's logo, is the 13th letter. But again, Kamala was in Philly the day of that. She was in Philly the day she named Tim Walz the VP, Mr. Football. They've been syncing up the Vikings whole season with Tim Walz so far. And remember, Philadelphia won the championship in Minnesota. Again, same Masons that run your rig selections, run your National Fixed League, a.k.a. the NFL. It's all connected. But one more time, the Church of Satan was founded in the Bay Area and not arbitrarily. In the Bible, in Revelation 3:7, and we're going to get to that because Trump was 37 when Ray Kroc died. In Revelation 3:7, the Church of Philadelphia gets the letter about the synagogue of Satan. So there's a connection with Satan in Philadelphia and San Francisco. And, you know, just to even take it further, satanic also equals 122. Well, for the record, satanic equals 50 and 122, just like San Francisco equals 50 and 122, and it's on the 122nd meridian, and Liberty Bell has the same gematria. And again, the Liberty Bells spent time, well, it's from Philly, but it spent a lot of time in the Bay Area. Again, the Warriors and athletics, the sports teams went from Philly to the Bay Area. There's been 1,000 other rituals in between with Philly and the Bay. We're constantly bringing up the connection between these cities. So again, Trump, out of all the McDonald's he could have gone to in the nation, to mock Kamala, who supposedly worked at a McDonald's in the Bay Area, but there's no proof it ever happened. Oh, what do you know? Another lie from a politician? Like neither of these people haven't told 1,000 of them. But again, look at the gematria overlap of McDonald's and satanic. And again, San Francisco has that 50. America and Donald has that 50. Another word that has gematria 50 is circle. And again, a circle is important because anytime you cast spells, you draw a circle first. That's the first step in ritual magic, to draw a circle. And this is one nation under a spell. 50 states, and pretty much everybody within these 50 states under a very severe spell. Here, I'd argue that this just right here. If you're eating at McDonald's, you're under a spell. The only people going to McDonald's in 2024 are people under a spell. The only people voting for Donald Trump, who runs on MAGA, the highest degree of the Church of Satan, are people under a spell. Same for the people who'd vote for Kamala. And again, you can know it's no accident about Trump and MAGA. And again, just anytime I do this, there's always somebody who leaves a comment that says, MAGA doesn't have anything to do with the Church of Satan. Church of Satan degrees, MAGA. It shouldn't even be that here, right from their own website. The hierarchy of the Church of Satan. Don't forget, Anton LaVey, the founder, died 201 days after his birthday, 201 days from the sitting Pope's birthday, which shows you who's really behind the Church of Satan, too. It's the same Jesuits. But yes, the fifth and highest degree is MAGA. And completely verifiable. Go back to April 30th, 2011, the Church of Satan's 45th birthday. You can see that Donald Trump was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner that day, where Obama was telling the jokes. And Obama had a big skit for Trump that day. He had a image of the White House lit up like a casino, little picture of Donald Trump in a hot tub in front of the White House with girls in bikinis. And he said, Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States, and this is what the White House is going to look like, a casino. And nobody got the joke. It was 45 days before Trump's birthday. And keeping that in mind, Trump's birthday, June 14th, which is also Philadelphia. The flag was sewn in Philadelphia. It's the flag's birthday as well. That's why they did so many rituals. When Trump took office the first time, the flag was 239 years old, like how it was sewn at 239 Arch Street in Philly. That's how we told you the Super Bowl was going to be Philadelphia versus Patriots. After Trump took on the flag protesters on 23/9 shortly after he took office. Again, all rigged rituals. That's when Philadelphia won it in Minnesota, and then Kamala's picking Tim Walz, the Minnesota guy in Philly. All this stuff is connected. 239 is the 52nd prime. It was the year of Super Bowl 52. President equals 52, like White House, like government, like Minnesota, like how the McDonald's logo was designed in 52 with a big fat M. Is it M for mega? Don't kid yourself. Magic, spells, spelling, Masons, secret societies, Kabbalah. But yes, it was the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, 45 days before Trump's birthday, that Obama told us Trump would become number 45. And see, it was more than a joke. It was telling us what was coming. Because this nation, it is controlled by evil, wicked people who do have a sense of humor and who mock us to our faces every day and expect us not to see it. Just like when Trump's ex-wife fell down the stairs and died 45 years after their marriage, exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Nation year, just hours after Trump said he'd be running in the next election. Something we told you he'd be doing way before that happened. And we were telling you Trump was this Jesuit puppet way before that happened. That's been one of 1,000 more proofs since then to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, show you what's going on. And why do so many people still not want to hear what we're saying? Cognitive dissonance. Yesterday, I was explaining this, and a guy said, he goes, so what? So what? What does any of this matter? And plus, anyway, and then the one thing he said that might be halfway true, he said, plus, anyway, all that matters is Satan's really doing all this. Okay. Well, if Satan really is all doing this, then they're working through the Jesuits who set up this system and use people like Trump and have to keep him constantly in front of our face for now going on nearly a decade. Notice Trump's commanded the whole spotlight since he announced he was running in 2015. It's been the Trump world order. But anyway, let's keep moving through the ritual because there's a lot more to say here. Again, the weekend of Kamala's 60th birthday. They got to bring it all together just days before the 60th election. Remember, they did to the wrestler Kamala, born James Harris, 2 days before she was made the VP nominee. R.I.P. But here's the other satanic piece. What day did Trump say he's going to go to the McDonald's? He said it on October 18th. Every year they have a satanic ritual on 10/18 because in the Bible, in Luke 10:18, that's where Satan comes to earth. Satan falls from heaven. It's interesting how in Gematria, Satan equals 55, like heaven, like God. They're all 55. Numerology equals 55. Fibonacci equals 55. The 10th Fibonacci number is 55. God and Satan also equal 10. Marilyn Manson, who's 55 years old right now, has the song Say 10, S-A-Y with the number 10. And remember, the music video for that is Donald Trump getting assassinated. Came out just before Trump won this election back in 2016. If you forgot that, go back and look at Marilyn Manson and the attention he got for the assassination of Trump video where Trump's laying in a pool of blood. Marilyn Manson's 55 right now. And just so you can see what they're encoding in these headlines, McDonald Trump, what do you think it equals? Give you a clue. I was just talking about it. McDonald Trump. McDonald Trump, 55. It's also 197, the 45th prime. It's also 154. The number 201 is 154. The number 201 is the 154th composite number. It's also 71. Who's he mocking? He's mocking Kamala Debbie Harris. Just even right here, how they have to emphasize do everything in the main. You see the 152.71. I mean, just everything they do is encoded every day. I've been showing this stuff for over a decade. 152.71. Remember the cartoon of Lisa Simpson becoming the first female president? That came out March 19th, 152 days after Kamala's October 20th birthday. She's wearing purple with the pearl necklace, just like Kamala wore on Inauguration Day, which is what the Whore of Babylon wears in Revelation. Whore of Babylon equals 217. Biden passed the torch to Kamala on 21/7, 217 days after the Pope's birthday. Kamala means lotus flower. When Trump went to the Vatican on May 24th, 2017, he gave the Pope a lotus flower 217 days after his own birthday. The band Radiohead put out the song Lotus Flower in a similar code on the 47th day of the year. She's running to be number 47. Lisa Simpson equals 47. Trump 47. President 47. The guy who designed the logo for McDonald's, born on the 47th day of the year, Richard McDonald. On and on and on. And by the way, pass the torch, 152, just like Kamala Debbie Harris. That was the phrase. When Joe Biden gave it to her by the numbers in the Whore of Babylon ritual. Another thing paying tribute to the satanic. Okay. So look at this. The design for McDonald's, the logo was drawn up in 1952. Can we go back to that year a lot as well? A lot of things went down in 1952, including the first act of weather warfare. But think about how many years ago that was now. 72, right? 72. And Kamala's birthday is this weekend, October 20th, the day leaving 72 days left in the year. Remember, President Trump equals 72, like President Biden equals 72. Biden became senator-elect in 72, and then his wife and daughter died days later in a car crash, supposedly on Limestone Road, which equals 201. Remember, we're in the time of the first Jesuit pope who became pope on the 72nd day of the year. He's the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. These numbers get paired together a lot. The day that Trump said he's going to work at McDonald's, yesterday, October 18th, 2024, 10 plus 18 plus 20 plus 24 is 72. Biden's from Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of The Office that ran 201 episodes. Scranton's just outside Philly, where Trump's going to be. Again, Biden sacrificed his wife and daughter and his son, all in 201 rituals. Trump just did it with his ex-wife, his brother the other year on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th. Go back and see what we document about his sister's death last year, who used to be a lawyer for Ronald Reagan. Remember, Trump's had family members in the federal government, including his uncle, who audited Nikola Tesla's apartment after he died. And then don't even get me started on the other puppet, Elon Musk. Another total Jesuit puppet. Trump's 78 years old right now. The word Jesuit equals 78, just like Tesla. Remember, on the 78th anniversary of Nikola Tesla's death, the 78th anniversary, January 7, 2021, that was the same day that Elon Musk was declared the richest man in the world. The other week, he's saying, I'm dark mega. Remember his quote? I'm dark mega. I'm dark mega. Standing next to 78-year-old Trump. I'm dark mega, 78. Tesla, 78. Jesuit, 78. 78 cards in the tarot deck. The top cards are Trump cards. Trump's trying to become Grover Cleveland Part 2, the second split-term president. Okay, but anyway, all this 72 stuff. Again, the symbol for McDonald's is 72 years old as they do this right before the election. And this article here about McDonald's legacy, they actually refer to the logo of McDonald's as a sigil. A sigil. It says, yes, the golden arches. Yes, the golden arches are more than a logo. It's a sigil deep rooted in our culture. And it is. I mean, it's everywhere. And a sigil is a magic symbol. Sigils are used in sorcery. This might look familiar to you guys. You see the Gematria sigil? You see the 56, the 79? Society of Jesus. You remember their scandemic, how many 56s and 79s there were? From the scandemic being declared on the 79th day of Anthony Fauci's age, which was 79. Anthony Fauci was 79 years old. March 11, 2020 was his 79th day being 79. Jesuit educated at Holy Cross. Gavin Newsom, first governor to lock down the state. Jesuit educated at Santa Clara. I'm locking down California because 56% of you will get the virus in 8 weeks, which is 56 days. Gavin Newsom, 56. Anthony Fauci, 56. The pandemic began 56 years after Trump's Jesuit education began at Fordham in 64, the same year Kamala was born. Isn't it funny that he's running against a woman who was born in the same year his Jesuit education began? Isn't it funny that Kamala's VP is named Tim, just like Hillary's VP nominee was Tim Kaine? Like, you don't think all this is ritualism? Timothy equals 110 like president. Kamala was born 110 days after the Civil Rights Act of 72. Anyway. With regards to 72 and sorcery and sigils, the Goetia is this well-known text of sorcery. There's 72 demons in the Goetia. In Kabbalah, where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from, there's 72 names of God. Through this occult practice, you can see there's a relationship with the word God, but also with what most Christians understand is evil. Satan is 55 like God. And again, if you start to look into Kabbalah, I mean, there's a lot of parallels between all spiritualities, but Kabbalah is all about this oneness, just like Christianity is. All things come from one, which must mean that all things come from this source, including good and evil. And you look at a human being, if a human being is made in the image of God, we all possess the capability of good and evil. So again, it's not an accident that they've done this. And it's not an accident that Marilyn Manson is putting out songs with the chorus, when you say God, I say 10, and he's writing SAY10. I mean, again, Satan, 5510 when you run it forwards, God, 5510 when you run it in reverse. Do you think McDonald's is, if we have to make things black and white, do you think McDonald's is a force of good or bad? Which one do you put them in? Do they move more in the good square or the bad square? And I understand not everything is black and white. And I'm not saying everything about McDonald's is bad, but if it has to be more in the good or the bad, which one is it in? And I'll tell you what, if you don't know that it's more in the bad, then you don't have discernment. McDonald's, it lures children into the store, right? With Happy Meals, with little cheap plastic toys, probably with toxins in them. Kids don't know any better. And then really sweet, sugary foods that build lifelong addiction, that build an obese, unhealthy populace who doesn't know how to use their money right, because they're still lining up in drive-thrus where now fast food's not even cheap anymore. Now it's not only bad for you, it's also very expensive. Every time I drive past a McDonald's, it doesn't matter what hours of the day it is. People shouldn't even be eating late at night unless they're on some crazy graveyard shift, which really isn't a good thing either, because it's out of tune with our natural body cycles. But these are all the things that the non-natural world that we live in has created. Anyway, McDonald's just promotes a lot of things that aren't good. Unhealthy eating habits, poor diet, poor use of time and money. So there's no way you could ever say it's more on the good side. Yeah, you might take your child there and it puts a big smile on their face because they're happy to get those French fries and milkshake. But again, this is why you have to recognize what the nature of evil is. Who's that song from back in the day that sang Smiling Faces? I played it a few times. The Undisputed Truth. Can you dig it? If you don't know that song, Smiling Faces by The Undisputed Truth, listen to that song. It's like that's like what this whole satanic world is. That's what these people are that are on the nightly news reading off teleprompters, knowing they're lying to you for a paycheck. Their hair's nicely done. They're dressed nicely. They're presenting nicely. They're not saying any curse words. They're just talking to you and reading you the news. That's all mind control and fear-based programming. And then how do they get paid these big lucrative salaries to be on TV? Well, just watch the advertising. It's all just stuff you don't need. Pharmaceutical drugs, another truck. You just bought one 3 years ago, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Alcohol, McDonald's, other junk food, potato chips. Big business. A lot of it is big evil. And it's not to say that every business is evil, but a lot of the ones that dominate the landscape certainly are. If people can't see, they can't discern. They can't see how disgusting this man is. You know, I've been watching that kid that wears the magical underwear go around the country just because I like watching him interview the people on the street. Well, I don't know if I actually like it. I just maybe it's a reality check for me to just remember remember the people that are walking around this place and the idiocracy that is. But I can't tell you how many people on the street have come up and say, if you're a Christian, you have to vote for Donald Trump. I mean, there's just so many people that you just talk to on the street. And you can tell it's not rigged. I mean, he's literally just walking down the street and people pass him by just trying to get him to talk. But so many people, they'll say, if you're a Christian, you got to go out and vote for Trump in this election. It's like, it's a reminder that Jesus and Lucifer have the same gematria. And that's 74. Again, like 10:18 is the day leaving 74 days left in the year, where Satan comes to earth in Luke 10:18. Yeah, if you're a Christian and you're voting for Donald Trump, you don't have discernment. You don't have spiritual discernment. You're voting for a man who's absolutely disgusting, a purposefully polarizing figure, a guy who you should. I mean, I just don't like. As someone who left Christianity as a 12-year-old because I thought it was beneath me, and I think that was the right move. Just seemed like another false fairy tale trying to control and mislead people. Again, just take the good and leave the bad. Live by the golden rule. Seek truth. What else do you need from the book if you're doing those two things? I mean, literally nothing. And you don't need to be going to church and putting money in the plate so the pastor can have a nice car and drink somebody's blood and eat their body. You don't need any of that. That's not doing anything for you other than making you feel like a weirdo if you have discernment. And again, just there are so many Christians that do think that you must vote Republican. Did you not notice that your party in 2000 inverted the stars to downward pointing, essentially pentagrams? That's a satanic symbol. Your party is satanic. It's been satanic. It instigated an evil war. I see all these people like just saying crazy stuff. Wars never start under Republicans. It's like, how bad is the amnesia here? What happened in 2001? Was George W. Bush a Democrat? What? Again, both of these parties are part of the same thing. They don't represent us. They're part of this evil. Neither one of them is holier than thou. They're two wings of the same bird, playing good cop, bad cop at different points in history. In 2001, the only good cops you could find in politics were in the Democratic Party. In the 2020s, seems like the only good cops you can find are in the Republican Party. And Donald Trump's not one of them. No. But the only politicians I've heard speak any sense in the last few years have been Republicans. That doesn't mean I'm endorsing the Republican Party. They're just the ones who said these lockdowns aren't right, mandatory jabs aren't right. Just like how in the early 2000s, they were the only ones looking into the lies of 9/11 and illegal wars that didn't need to happen and falsely a group of people being blamed. Democrats were good cops then. Republicans are good cops now. And in another 20 years, it'll shift back and forth because this is the game. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, they were both lifelong Democrats until recently. Think about that as well. J.D. Vance, 4 years ago, was saying Donald Trump was a demon. Now he's his VP running mate. I mean, you don't see how all this is just like some big, silly game. Like we're a contestant on The Apprentice, the first degree of Freemasonry, when Freemasonry and secret society equal 58. And Trump announced from the 58-story Trump Tower he was running for the 58th election that he won. You don't see the game. In every alphabet that has an M, the word Mason in all of those alphabets begins with an M. This has been viral on the internet, but the problem with this viral video is it doesn't give you anything substantive. Nobody has said what this book is. So when I see stuff like this go viral on the internet, I feel like it's a tease. I wish somebody could figure out what that book is. You've probably seen this video if you're on the internet looking for things. I saw this, I don't know, maybe 6 or 9 months ago, and it's out there, but somebody has a book that's an old sorcery book, and they don't say in the video what the book is, which you think would be the information you would reveal if you're trying to get information out there. But they leave that out, and they just say, oh, look at this sorcery book, and right on the cover is something that looks a lot like the McDonald's logo. Now, I have no doubt that that's a real book, and that's a real symbol. It makes a ton of sense. Again, the world is ruled by signs and symbols, and all is in plain sight, spells and spelling and curses and cursive. Again, people going into this food company that serves pretty much nothing but overpriced toxins, Again, chemically engineered food to make you addicted that provides hardly any real nutritional value. And here's the other thing that I'll say. Like, you just pay attention. All the most evil stuff in this world, who does it target the most in terms of race? I mean, we should all know the answer to this off the top of our head. Who does McDonald's gear most of their marketing towards? Black people. For the last 20 years, that's been over the top obvious. Mostly black actors in their commercials, incorporating hip hop music. It's just like when they were, whipping up the miracle cure for the scandemic. Before it was here, they had all kinds of people going on TV, Idris Elba and 1,000 others, saying that when it comes out, if you're black, you need it the most. Don't forget there were 201 men in the Tuskegee group. When they cooked up crack cocaine, they made sure it went into the black communities. And you got to ask yourself, I get annoyed with how many white people leave comments like, I think there's some ulterior motive for you sticking up for black people more than other people. I stick up for all people. The reason I stick up for black people more than other people is because I'm responding to the media that spends more time targeting and destroying black people than any other group. But I do stick up for all people. My channel is a response to the sorcery and spell casting coming nonstop through the screens. And if you haven't recognized in your lifetime that they demonize black people and there's more of their weapons pointed at black communities than any other, you're not paying attention. And you should ask yourself why that is. I mean, why is that? And I would say another thing is again, if you've ever watched me out on the streets of this country, who are what more likely than not, if somebody's walking down the street and is going to come up and start a conversation and ask questions and be interested. And usually when I'm on the streets of America, I'm not making it about race. I'm just talking about what's going on in the world. But who stops by and listens? Who stops by and speaks? They're almost always black people. Isn't that interesting? All right, moving on. Here's the man who designed the McDonald's logo. Notice he was born on the 47th day of the year. Don't you think it's interesting that in the election to be number 47, right as we get to the final days, now we have this pissing match with who's more McDonald's, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Let's break it out again. Let me keep it up here for 47 seconds. Maybe then it'll sink in. I mean, I've been talking about this. It feels like for 47 years, but it hasn't quite been that long. But what do you think? Remember Trump in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel the night of the 2016 selection. Trump equals 47, like president, like White House, like government, like authority, like Republican, like Democrat, like how the Masons, sigil, like how the Masons study the 47th problem of Euclid, like how this nation's birthday is the 4th day of the 7th month, on and on and on and on and on. Like how the Masons created American football and the first Super Bowl season was the 47th season of the NFL. The first pro basketball championship was in 47. The MLB changed their logo in 47, sigils, symbols, numbers. Cornerstone for DC laid on 47 date numerology. Donald Trump in 2020 saying, I've done more in 47 months than Biden's done in 47 years. Joe Biden, who took office in 72 with the 47th U.S. presidential selection. Then he sat in D.C. for 47 years before he became president himself. And when Obama took office with him, Obama was 47 years old. And now it's possible that Kamala does the exact same thing as Obama, goes from one-term senator to the White House. She already did that. And now through the Obama connection could become president. The Obama connection as well, but the Joe Biden connection is what I meant to say. Richard McDonald, born on the 47th day of the year, designed the logo in 52. And remember, how many times have we talked about how 47 and 52 are peas in a pod? Government, 47, 52. Authority, 4752. The Cabal, 4752. White House, 4752. President, 4752. Honestly, what do you think has more power in this world? McDonald's or the President of the United States? Which of those things actually has more power in the world? I would argue that McDonald's has more power in the world. They've shifted economies. They have the best real estate in the world. They have the kind of power to put a Donald Trump in the White House or a Kamala Harris. And I mean, has Donald Trump not been a major marketer for them? I know McDonald's stock price has gone up quite a bit in recent times, where a lot of others have faltered. And again, about this whole 72 thing as well with McDonald's, you know, how the logo's 72 years old. Remember, Ray Kroc joined McDonald's in 54. Okay, we're about to really bring this together, how planned out all this is. Jesuit order, 5472, right? Ray Kroc came on in 54. Now 72 years after the logo was designed. These Jesuit-connected people, Trump's Jesuit-educated. Kamala couldn't pass the bar until she took it at the Jesuit University. I'll maintain that I highly suspect she probably never really passed the bar. She couldn't pass it. She failed it multiple times, and then she takes it at the Jesuit University, and all of a sudden she passes. She's sucking Willie's Willie. When he's 60, now she's 60, and she's on the verge of being the president. And don't forget, when Biden passed the torch to Kamala, you see how Kamala's got the 123 and the 42? He passed the torch 42 months in a day after they took office. Don't forget her mom died on the 42nd day of the year in 2009, right after Obama took office. But when he passed the torch on July 21st, that was 123 days after Willie Brown's birthday. And you might recall Monday Night Football, first one of the season between the 49ers, Kamala's came up in the Bay Area, versus the Jets. Remember, Tim Wall's Minnesota beat the Giants, and Kamala's Niners beat the other New York team week 1 to make home teams 11-5 when the election's on 11-5. I put out the video before it all happened, and I said, watch for the Niners to win by 12 points tonight to pick up their 12th win all-time versus the Jets. They ended up winning by 13 to become plus 123 in points scored all-time versus the Jets as they picked up their 12th win. So if you took them for 12 plus, you won that bet too, which was a nice payout. If you took them for exactly 12, you missed by a hair of a point, but 12 plus would have won it. And again, but the point was, I've been explaining for years, rigged football games, rigged elections, all sync together. And don't you think it's interesting how the Chiefs visited the White House on the 152nd day of the year? We covered this when it happened. If you go back and watch my video from when the Chiefs went to the White House, I pointed out the connection with 152 and Kamala and Joe Biden. And I said that day, there's something about Minnesota. This was way before Kamala picked Tim Walz from Minnesota, the football guy, but it was 110 days after the Super Bowl. I said, they're doing something with Minnesota here. And I said, you see how Minnesota has the same numbers as presidents and it connects with election? I said, there's something about this. And now, funny enough, you could see the Chiefs and the Vikings both become 6-0 on Kamala's 60th birthday just before the 60th election. And they've been making a point about how Minnesota hasn't gone, it hasn't gone blue for 52 years. Or is it the other way? Maybe Minnesota hasn't gone red for 52 years. That's what it is. Minnesota hasn't gone red for 52 years. And you know how Kamala just skipped the dinner in New York? Somebody left that thing. Why didn't you cover the Kamala skipping the dinner in New York? When you guys leave those comments, I mean, I could have covered it again, but I covered it a month ago when it was announced that she wasn't going to go. So I could have covered it again, but really all you're revealing in your post is that you don't really keep up with my work that much, because we were talking about that a lot at the time, how that Catholic dinner, and did you guys notice how they did it on the day leaving 75 days left in the year? Well, they call it the Al Smith dinner. Catholic Church 75, like Roman Catholic, like order, like New World Order, like order out of chaos. But anyway, when the last person to skip that dinner lost to Reagan, and the only state he won was Minnesota. So yeah, Minnesota hasn't gone Republican for 52 years. And we've been talking about this, and now you just see how it all comes in with the NFL season. Again, Chiefs and Vikings were the only teams to start 4-0. Chiefs beat the Vikings in Super Bowl IV. They were the only team to start 5-0. The 50th NFL season was the year of Super Bowl IV. All connected. But, all right, coming back to Richard McDonald, who designed the logo. He did die on July 14th. They can be written 14/7. Remember, there's 147 windows on the White House. President of the United States equals 147. U.S. President equals 147. Freemason equals 147. Again, M and the Masons. But that is, again, the day that also Trump's ex-wife died, exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Nation year. It was the anniversary of that date. It was 2022 when Trump's wife died. So it was 24 years later, like how Grover Cleveland was the 22nd and 24th presidents, and Trump announced in 2022 that he'd be running for 2024 as he's trying to become the latest Grover Cleveland. Anyhow, look at the day he died, how it lines up with Trump. And this was also true when Trump's wife died. From Trump's birthday to his death on or not Ray Kroc's, but to Richard McDonald's death. Or excuse me, I'm twisting dates. I apologize. All right, so this is the parallel with Richard McDonald, who designed the logo. Ray Kroc, who made McDonald's. If you've never seen the movie The Founder, where Michael Keaton plays Ray Kroc, there's a really interesting scene in that movie where a Jewish man comes to his door selling Catholic Bibles. And the line from Michael Keaton is, "What's a Jew doing selling Catholic Bibles?" Again, if you guys don't know the history, Martin Luther, who wrote the 95 Theses, he targeted Catholicism first, and he targeted Judaism second. And he said there could not be a decent society if Catholicism and Judaism are to exist in Europe. And that's why the ties are, well, you think about it, Martin Luther penned the 95 Theses in Germany. That's where the Nazis came about, brought up by the Catholic Church, repeating history. Well, Hitler didn't go after the Catholics, though. But he was backed by the Catholics. Again, the Vatican in 1929 got its own central bank and printing press, and that's where all that money came from. And again, that's the power of fiat currency. If you can just print money, you can take a totally broke nation and make the biggest war machine there ever was. Well, I suppose when your central bank is backed by the original bankers, who are the Templars, who also serve the church. But anyway, when you're the Illuminati, that's what you can do. But Ray Kroc, 54, we're talking about the 72 ritual they're doing right now. Judaism and Catholicism came together in the time of the Protestant Reformation. The second leader of the Jesuits, Diego Lainez, was a Jew who converted to Catholicism. And some people think Ignatius of Loyola was a Jew who converted to Catholicism too, but it's really, there's no historical proof as far as I can tell that happened. There's a lot of people who say that's what happened, but what is on the historical record and not disputed by the Jesuits? Like the Jesuits deny that themselves. They say, no, he wasn't a Jew. Diego Lainez was, though. The second superior general was a Jew who converted to Catholicism. So there was always this Jewish Catholic element with the Jesuits. And doesn't it make sense? State of Israel 201, all the 201 rituals of the State of Israel. Again, Catholic 145, 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament. Israel created on 14/5. David Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister, dies 201 days after that anniversary of that establishment. David Ben-Gurion equals 145. The Jesuit Order 201. The Holy Bible 201. And on and on and on. The wars that they just started in Ukraine and in Israel and big 201 rituals. The 201st day of the war, we send the 95 billion. Again, Martin Luther pins the 95 Theses. The Jesuits created 201 months later. This ritual with Trump saying he's going to be at McDonald's on the anniversary of Event 201, which took place the same day as the military World Games in Wuhan, China, which started in Italy in 95, and on and on and on. But here's what I meant to say. Ray Kroc, who made McDonald's what it was, when he died, Trump was 37 years old. And notice from Trump's birthday to Ray Kroc's death was 214 days. Church of Satan 214, Satanic Panic 214. When Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden, lost in the rigged selection that was perfectly in sync with the Jesuit simulation at Georgetown, the Transition Integrity Project, which simulated exactly what would happen on June 12th, 2020. Remember, the simulation that Biden would win by the Jesuits was 144 days before the election happened. President Biden won 44. 72, we talked about that. Senator elected 72. 81, like he supposedly got 81 million votes. Jesuit order, 144. President Trump's also got the 72-81 like Biden. Ray Kroc was 81 years old when he died. Biden was 81 when he passed the torch to Kamala. Kamala supposedly got a record 81 million votes in the first 24 hours. We said as soon as they took office, there'd be a transition of power from Biden to Kamala when she was 59 and he was 81 because they won the 59th election. Pope Francis 59 like John F. Kennedy. JFK killed at 46. The election 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. After Joe got rid of his son at 46. Again, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. Catholic 46 like sacrifice like Genesis 46. Like Trump born in 46 along with George W. Bush and Clinton. But yeah, Trump was stuck on 214 electoral votes when Biden passed him. Remember how they had to stop counting that night and Trump had a pretty commanding lead when everyone went to bed, and then we woke up in the morning and all these votes came in for Biden and Trump just couldn't get past 214. Stuff's not an accident, you guys. Again, Obama told the joke on the Church of Satan's birthday, their 45th birthday, that Trump would become number 45. Again, that was April 30th, 2011 at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, 45 days before Trump's June 14th birthday. This joke, though, yesterday with Trump, on the same day that NBC puts out a show about the Satanic Panic, which happened in the 80s. Again, 10:18, Satan comes to earth in Luke 10:18. Another name for Satan is Lucifer. Some people will say they're actually different entities. Maybe they are, but there's obviously parallels. Lucifer, 74. Going without 10:18 leaves 74 days left in the year. Jesus and Lucifer both equal 74. Jesus Christ also equals 74, as does cross, Messiah, gospel, parables. Again, Jesus is a reworked name, not the real name. The Bible's reworked, full of mistranslations and books left out. Last night, the caller last night to the show who said that Jesus, some of these other books that have been taken out, there's books that show Jesus was being raised as a Buddhist from age 12 to 30, which makes a lot of sense. I realized the BBC did a big documentary back in the 80s about the missing years of Jesus' life and how he was likely being trained as a Buddhist in India. And then if you watch the BBC documentary, just look it up. Just look up Jesus, Buddhist, BBC. It's going to come up. Documentary from the 80s. It says, who hid the secret of Jesus the Buddhist? The Templars. I mean, is that even surprising? Remember, in the show Nightfall, they tell you how the Templars have 65 orders in Europe. Knights Templar, 65, like Christianity. And remember, the Templars were burned at the stake for worshiping Baphomet, which is the symbol for Satan. Baphomet's 35, Satan's 35, Catholic is 35, Isus, the Roman name for Jesus, is 35, 1225, like 1225. Again, Christmas Day, 1225 has a square root of 35. The Catholic Church began celebrating the son's birthday. I had one little tiny sip. Let's see if that's enough. Wearing out my throat. This is what happens when you don't get enough sleep. For all you guys who don't get enough sleep, your body doesn't function as well as it should. Your heart has to work harder. Your blood pressure goes up. Your throat dries out more quickly. I usually get enough sleep, but sometimes I just wake up early and I'm just wired. And I don't know why that was. Give me 1 second. I need a drink of water. Again, 1225, square root of 35. The occult refer to the sun in the sky as the eye of God. And again, the analogy is that when your eyes are open, you see. When they're closed, they're darkness. So like when the sun's not in the sky, it's nighttime, it's dark. And remember, Genesis 3:5 is about the eye of God. And notice, eye is 35 and 46, just like Catholic. Religion's got the 46. 1225 is also known as Sol Invictus. You see how Sol Invictus is also 71 like Catholic? Like Horror Babylon. Again, 217, the ritual they did with Kamala Devi Harris. I mean, all this stuff's connected. Look at her legacy as the DA. She protected a lot of Catholic pedophiles. This is how you really climb the ladder. Sucking Willie's Willie and protecting pedophiles. And again, I mean, where's that lesson not learned from humanity? Just observing these religious orders that try to do things that are unnatural because they think that's what God wants. Again, I challenge every Christian to question your own beliefs. Doesn't it sound weird, the whole story and premise of your religion, that you're essentially bad, you're born bad, you're born evil of sin. The only way you can be forgiven is by believing in a story in a book? You don't question that at all? So what's natural, that you're a part of creation. So what's natural in creation is bad, but what's unnatural, a book made by man, it's good. It's the good book. And if you don't believe what's inside it, you're bad because it says so in the book. You don't see the logical fallacies here? It's not to say that all books are bad. There's a lot of good information in books, including good information in the Bible. But again, the Bible is missing books. It's mistranslated. There's concepts in the original languages that don't exist within English. And then there's just things that just need to be questioned in general. So God creates a bad thing that can only be fixed by believing in a story from a book from man with unknown authors and sources, all kinds of discrepancies and hypocrisies. But it should be taken. As the complete truth. I mean, like, you don't see like where this doesn't really make sense if you have a brain and you have critical thinking skills. And again, here's the other thing I'll point to. Look at all the Christians that think that they need to vote for the Republican Party, which literally is putting satanic symbols in front of their face for now 24 years straight. Again, it was 2000 that they inverted the logos to downwards pointing pentagrams. And now they literally have a guy who was forecasted to be number 45 on the Church of Satan's 45th birthday, who's literally running on the highest degree of the Church of Satan. And like, even without this, everybody saw it when they put it out by the numbers before the 2016 election, him talking to the nephew of the last Republican president, Billy Bush, like Billy Goat, like the goat, also related with Lucifer and Satan. For the record, the word goat has the same gematria as Lucifer. But anyway, I mean, you heard what he said. He was, his remarks about he doesn't care if a woman's married or not, if he's into her, he's going after her, he likes to seduce them, you know, by taking him to the furniture store. He's got so much money. He's like, here, you want to get smashed? On what couch do you want? Donald likes to do it on a couch. You want one of these couches? Here, we'll have it shipped here ASAP. Donald treatment. They'll have it there. We'll be ready to go. My Viagra pills will be ready. What you want? You want the big mattress instead? Which bed do you want? You know? Remember, just this whole trial by the numbers, it ended 45 days after it began. Stormy Daniels took the stand 45 days after her 45th birthday. Donald Trump, the calm before the storm. Didn't Donald Trump just reappear in Butler by the numbers on the anniversary of him saying the calm before the storm remarks? In Pennsylvania, where the nation was created, as he goes to Philadelphia, the nation that was once created has now been replaced as a giant corporation. And you guys notice how corporation equals 144, like Jesuit order, like the United States of America, reminding that the Jesuits came out of suppression in the time of the only 201 president, 144 days after his birthday, and that was James Madison. You guys know the United States of America was named on 9/9, right? September 9th. If not, you should look it up. If you drop the part, United States of America, it's got that infamous 84, like Trump returning to Butler, which equals 84 days after the hoax. But the 132 matters too, because there's 132 rooms in the White House, from the Illuminati's establishment by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt to the naming of the country was a span of 132 days. Catholic Church, 132. Roman Catholic, also 132. We're speaking English over here. The majority of the original people who arrived over here from Europe, they wanted German, got English instead. You know why they wanted German, you guys? Why'd they want German at the beginning? See, this is the problem, actually, that people don't know the answers to these questions. Why did the majority of migrants want German and not English? Why? Imagine the Jeopardy music's playing. If you don't know the answer, I want you to think about it for a second. Here, who was from Germany again? The guy who penned the 95 Theses going against the Catholic Church? What were the majority of people trying to escape coming over to the New World? They were trying to escape the government of Europe at the time, which was what? It was the Catholic Church. Where did the Catholic Church really have a stranglehold? England? Where they tried to blow up King James too. The Protestants were in England too. The King James Bible is a Protestant Bible, but. And don't forget, we are coming up on the gunpowder plot day. Remember the 5th of November, the day of the election. And they've been trying to get Judge Eileen Cannon to oversee the Trump assassination. Actually, she has. She's been having to do something with the Trump assassination stories. And again, Cannonball Day is the day to remember that Ignatius Loyola was shot with a cannonball, which is a gun for the time. And remember, Judge Cannon wanted Trump in court on May 20th, which is Cannonball Day, the anniversary of Billy Cannon dying for Joe Burrow and his scripted football career. But anyway, all of these things are connected. And when Trump was 37, again, Mr. McDonald's died, to bring us back to the topic of the hour. Trump going to make some French fries. Who's from France? The Jesuits. Trump's making French fries at the unnamed McDonald's in the land of the church that got the letter about the synagogue of Satan. But again, Trump was 37 when Ray Kroc died, and Ray Kroc was 81, meaning he was 44 years older. Trump eventually becomes the 44th person to be president of the United States. Trump's number 45, but he's the 44th person to be president because of Grover Cleveland, who had a split term and messed up the count. And again, I mean, just all this stuff coming full circle. In 84, Ray Kroc dies, the year of the San Ysidro Massacre. Remember, the San Ysidro Massacre was on the 18th day of the 7th month, 18/7, like 187. 187 days from the death of Ray Kroc. Homicide code out in California. His Padres went to the World Series that year and lost to Detroit by the numbers. Just, big news stories in sports. It's been going on for all this time. But 1984 is when the other mega guy got elected, the other Hollywood actor, Ronald Reagan, with all the parallels to Trump. He got reelected that year in 84, just like Butler equals 84. Reagan survives an assassination attempt. Trump does the same thing. All these historical parallels. Hold on, let me pull up this thing about Ronald Reagan at a McDonald's. They did something with Ronald Reagan at a McDonald's as well. I remember what actually, we need to go. I have to go back and find the Ronald Reagan thing too, but I forgot how Morgan Spurlock, who did the Super Size Me, got eradicated by the numbers in a Jesuit ritual this year. Morgan Spurlock died on May 23rd, 523, in satanic gematria, which is a real thing. Donald Trump equals 523. So Morgan Spurlock, I mean, this is the post from, man, there's always more, True Seeker. Again, if you're new here, satanic gematria, it sounds scary. It's really just mathematical. Just like, the one with wisdom will calculate the number of the beast. So look at this. In satanic gematria equals 666. And you see how 666 is the 36th triangular number? Remember, we just saw the 49ers from the church. Again, the first game of NFL Week 6 was the 49ers picking up their 666th franchise win, winning their 6th straight game versus the Seahawks. And here, before this changes, just to so the next dummy doesn't come through and be like, that's not true. I don't have 666. So I can't tell you how many dummies just keep leaving this comment about how the Niners don't have 666 wins. Yes, they do. 627 in the regular season, 39 in the postseason. If you can add, that is 666 total wins. And they got their 6th straight versus the Seahawks to start week 6, scoring 36. 666 is the 36 triangular number. And again, they did it in Seattle, the land of the beast quake. Seattle's on the 47th parallel. Beast equals 47. Like Trump, like president, like White House, like government, like authority, like Vatican. So yeah, it's all just making way more sense now. But Morgan Spurlock dead on 5/23. Dead at 53 does mean he was dead in his 54th year of life. Again, when you're born, you start your first year of life. When you turn 1, you begin your second year of life. When you turn 2, you begin your third year of life. His death was 195 days. On the 195th day of the Superior General's age, Morgan Spurlock, 195. Raymond Albert Kroc, the founder, that's Ray Kroc, 195. Again, the joke in the movie about, and again, these jokes just go over people's head. They don't get it. They're watching. They're like, oh, Michael Keaton's Ray Kroc. Oh, what's that joke about? Oh, well, yeah, what is a Jew doing selling Catholic Bibles? They don't get the jokes because they don't know history. The history connects Israel and everything once you know what to look for. There was a lot to this. I just want to see if there's any other main points I should point out. He was part of Phi Gamma Delta. Yeah, there's a lot of parallels here. You know what's weird? Kamala's birthday is going to fall on the 129th day of Trump's age, and I see that his full name is 129. God. 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. Just like how Georgetown equals 129. Again, the first Jesuit university. So Kamala's birthday falls on the 129th day of Trump's age, and Morgan Spurlock's full name. He did die in a leap year, so he died on the 144th day of the year. And by the way, in recent years, if you go to get your food handler's license, they changed the answer of what a hamburger needs to be heated to. It used to be 160 degrees. In recent years, they changed the answer to 158 degrees. And again, this speaks to the legitimacy of just so many things that we call knowledge. I mean, they're literally changing the answer to what a hamburger needs to be heated to for gematria purposes. Freemasonry equals 158, like McDonald's, like Burger King, like hamburgers. The answer was 160 degrees since forever. In recent years, it changed to 158. And Morgan Spurlock died 158 days after the Pope's birthday. He was a documentarian. Documentary is another 158 word. Super Size Me is a documentary. By the way, this book right here, Fast Food Nation, they made this into a movie. The movie's nothing like the book. The movie's fiction and like a storyline, and it's like I don't know if they did that on purpose so people don't read this book. They're like, oh, I don't like to read. I'll just watch the movie. You have to read this book. The movie is nothing like this book. Just for the record, Fast Food Nation. I think this should be. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we should be reading in slave school. Pledging to 13 stripes. Half of us in our high school had a McDonald's in the cafeteria. My middle school was serving McDonald's, and my high school had like a little McDonald's thing on site. And that explains to you why we're not getting information like this. They own our textbooks, they own our schools, they own our politicians. And that's the point I was making too about what do you really think has more power, McDonald's or the White House? It's McDonald's all day. Corporations own this nation. Here, the 1981 World Series. That's right. Ray Kroc dies at 81, and then his Padres, who he owned until his death, go to the 81st World Series, 81 days after the San Ysidro massacre. Trump's Mets right now are trying to stay alive against the Dodgers, and they're using the McDonald's mascot Grimace. And look, the first year that McDonald's marketed Grimace, his name was Evil Grimace. And then in year 2, they changed it. He just became Grimace with a smile. He went from evil Grimace. And keep in mind, he's purple too. Grimace is purple. Remember Prince. Remember what happened the year that Trump won the 58th election? Again, Freemasonry equals 58, like secret society. The first degree of Freemasonry is the apprentice. Purple Rain equals 58. Prince's girlfriend from the time of Purple Rain, Vanity, died the day of the 58th Grammys. We said that day Prince would die soon. He died on 4/21, like his hit song, I Would Die For You, with the number 4 and the letter U, when the letter U is the 21st letter. So I would die 4/21, the day he died on the Queen's birthday. And then 201 days later, Trump won the election, and Bill and Hillary conceded him purple. Now this thing going on with Grimace and the Mets and McDonald's, and again, just all this stuff being scripted together. But yeah, 81st World Series. Ray Kroc dies, and then his team loses in the World Series that started 81 days later. I mean, just... San Diego gets a big tragedy at McDonald's, and then they're at the stadium eating McDonald's, watching the rig game. Okay. Here, just out of curiosity, from May 23rd, when Morgan Spurlock died, until 10/18, when Trump said he's going to be at McDonald's this weekend. He didn't specify which day. I was trying to figure out if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday. If he does it on Sunday, on Kamala's birthday, I'm just going to be like, you've got to be kidding me. Here, we got a DK Stonewood sighting. He's up early, too. What's up, DK?
Can I make a couple comments on what you were just talking about?
Uh-huh.
I got up to walk the animals, so I've been listening to for about 15 minutes on 2X. So I listened to probably the last maybe 25 minutes or so. And I just want to make, you were just hitting all the key points of things that I have been thinking. So let me just make a couple random comments real quick before I forget. So you're aware of how the electric car charging industry works? They have level 1, level 2, and level 3 charging. So level 1 charging is just it's plugging into the wall like a regular wall socket or whatever. It's 1 kilowatt hour. So it charges 1 kilowatt per hour. And then level 2 charging is 6.6 times that, that 1 kilowatt, or so it's 6.6 kilowatt hours. So, and then you can only guess what level 3 is. Take a wild guess. This is one number that I didn't know until somebody turned me on to your work.
I don't know. I got up too early this morning. What is it?
56 times.
That I should have just said it out loud. That's actually what I was wondering. It's funny that the electric mowers that almost everybody has are 56 volt as well. Even the one I have is 56 volts, and I look at that, I'm like, huh, that's interesting.
That's funny. And then I'll just say this before I start talking about the Satan coming to earth on a lightning bolt. And that.
Hold on, pause before you go to the next part. Just so you guys know, Church of Satan equals 56, just like Society of Jesus. And again, with all the Jesuit parallels, Anton LaVey did 201 days from his birthday, 201 days before the sitting Pope's birthday. The word Pope is also 56, and Catholic Pope is 201. But anyhow, go ahead, DK.
Have you decoded you decoded Kobe's career? You said basically everything about his career was mostly 41, right?
Yeah, and he had some big 666 rituals himself.
Right. Okay. What have you decoded Jordan like you did Kobe? Did he have a number?
You could say 33 was Mike's number, just like how after he went 3 for 3 in finals, his dad died 33 days later. And I just noticed that his killer just got freed. I need to look into why that is. There's something going on with that. It's right before the 79th NBA season, and murder equals 79. I know there's something up with that.
So here's my little connection for Jordan on that. So, okay, Jordan is 6'6". He's got 6 championships. And then he won the 6th championship, the last one, in the 6th month, in the 6th game. And he made the game-winning shot against Brian Russell of the Jazz, where he kind of like crossed him up at the free throw line and pushed him a little bit. Remember that one?
Was 6.6 left on the clock?
Yes.
Yeah, Bulls equals 66. Yeah, I've talked about that too. 6 championships for the guy on the 66 team. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then he's like a bull, and then Satan is normally depicted with the head of a bull,
With horns?
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's also Moloch. So, I mean, and then also Satan was, I forgot when that word was brought in, but that word was not used before. They were calling, because it just means the adversary. It could really be anybody, where Lucifer's actually naming a specific being, like a specific, higher, frequency, like, somebody in the angelic realm that decided to, lower their frequency and do some things. And then Satan would be like, in like ancient Egyptian times, we're talking about like 50,000 to like, maybe 200,000 years ago, that being was actually this guy, Set or Sataniel, which was Osiris's brother, and then the son Horus, he like allegorically takes his eye, he leaves him with one eye. That's why they call it like the eye of Horus or whatever. Mm-hmm. So anyway, and then Jordan passed it on to Kobe, basically, right? Then Kobe has the 666 workout, and then Kobe pretty much like passed it on to LeBron, and then LeBron is now even wearing number 6. Let me get to this idea that I'm thinking for. Okay, so Satan comes to Earth on a lightning bolt. What color is lightning? Lightning's like a very purplish, bluish. When it lights up the sky, it's basically like purple. It's like those really bright LED lights from some of the car, like Mercedes headlights or whatever. It's like weird, when it gets you, it's like blinds you for a minute. It's like purple. It's almost like when you look at the sun, how it's if you really look at it for a second and you can see that inside, that like burning yellow outside, it's actually like bluish purple inside. And then you have to kind of close your eyes. It leaves like a spot. So, and then, it says that Satan came to, Earth in a lightning bolt. And what is a lightning bolt actually consisting of? It's energy, it's electricity, right? And if you have an appliance and you leave the appliance on and you just yank the cord while the appliance is running, you're usually going to get that purple shot coming out of the wall, for an inch or so, right? So it's kind of like that's the color of this stuff that this demonic realm lives in, and is in this purple light, which we call electricity. And then Prince talked about it a bunch. He had the song Purple Rain. And then when do you have purple rain? That's when there's lightning and it's raining. Then it lights up the rain. It looks purple. And he, in the song, he has 1999.
Well, hold on. Let's pause on that for a second. Prince died on 21/4, 214. We were just talking about how Church of Satan's 214 and how Ray Kroc died 214 days from Trump's birthday. And now Trump, right before the elections, Mr. McDonald's again. And now he's actually going to serve French fries there. So, yeah, I'm hearing it. Keep going.
And then he has that other song, 1999 Party Like It's 1999. And if you flip that over, it's 666. And then, he's singing there. He goes, the sky was all purple, people running everywhere. I was running from my destruction. The people didn't seem to care. So, what the hell is he talking about there? Again, purple in the sky.
Well, Prince is the same one who was on tour in Europe not long before 9/11, and he said on the tour he's got to go back to America, and Obama's getting ready to bomb. So he definitely knew the script. And if anyone thinks that's a stretch with what DK just said about 1999 and 666, there's a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe it's End of Days, but it's set in 1999, and the movie begins with a phone call made from the Vatican to a New York hospital, and they're talking about how 1999 has the 666 connection, and it marks that this satanic child's going to be born. Have you seen this movie, DK? Yeah, and then in this hospital, this child's born at this exact moment. If you guys haven't seen it, they take the baby and they take him down in the basement and they do this satanic ceremony. I can't remember if they sacrifice the child or they're about to. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but that's all in the movie.
Sixth day?
Is it the 6th day or is it the End of Days?
I think it's the 6th day. The End of Days is another. Is that even an Arnold movie? End of Days? I'm trying to remember now. I think the movie you're talking about is the 6th day.
It might be. I might be getting the title crossed, but I know that movie starts in 1999 with that little call from the Vatican to the hospital for the satanic ritual. So.
Yeah, no, I totally remember the scene you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And they make the point. They make the point about how 1999 has the 666 connection. It's in the dialogue in the movie in the beginning. So.
Yeah, that part I didn't know, but I mean, I totally remember the movie and the whole plot and everything. So anyway, I'm thinking that's the case. And when, they talk about Satan being the prince of the power of the air, the lightning is the power in the air, literally, it's literally energy coming through the air, so like, I think that's what it's all like referring to. And this demonic realm lives in this, that's why it said like Satan came to earth on that. And that's why now all our cities are all electrified, when before we weren't doing this, we were just like you were saying, like if you have a job or whatever, you're staying up because we have all this technology, but if we were living normally before, just like by fire, you wouldn't be up.
Here, and you saying that just makes me want to go back to where I started this stream on a slightly different topic with what happened yesterday in Cuba, in case you guys missed the beginning of the stream. I know a lot of you guys never go back and watch. You just tune into a live stream when it's over. You don't go back and check anything. But again, yesterday the power went out in Cuba on the anniversary event 201 on the day leaving 74 days left in the year. Energy is 74, but so is Lucifer, and Lucifer's the light bearer. And then after I made that short video yesterday, and what I talked about this morning is Spanish-speaking people. I mentioned the town it happened in the Gematria, but they said you got to look up what that word means. That word has to do with slaughtering pigs. And then so I said, oh, so the name of the town means the traditional slaughter of pigs that takes place in the fall to get ready for winter. And then again, another word for pig is swine. Swine has gematria 65. The power went out 65 days from the start of winter. And again, you guys, Lucifer, the light bearer, these people are controlling the power grid. They can turn the lights out on us by a code, like how they turned it out on Cuba, a Jesuit-controlled nation, on the day leaving 74 days left in the year. Again, so yeah, what you're getting in here to right here is exactly what I started the stream with about the symbolism of them controlling the electricity grid. And just for the record, you guys, electricity equals 129, which is 201 in base 8 counting, like how they turned out the power on the anniversary of event 201. So yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to bring that back up.
And the other thing you were saying about these sigils being, part of these like black magic rituals, people don't understand how much power some of these things have. So like, you could cast spells with words, that's why it's called spelling. And then when you get a picture, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So then, if you get a symbol, which is like well known, it could be worth literally like 1,000 pictures. So literally, one of those symbols like that could be worth like 1,000,000 words. So imagine like the power of that spell, and that's coming off of that. People don't get how these things work. That's why they use the sacred geometry and stuff like that to do it. Like if you go to any of these, even the Vatican, but what's this dang thing over here where they, I can't remember the name over here in LA, where they say they constantly hear children, like there's children underground. It's up on the hill over there in Brentwood. I can't think of the name of it right now. But like these things, when you look at it from above ground, it's all laid out like, it's like a Masonic sigil. The bottom line, the whole landscape architecture is set up just like how like the baseball diamond and, all that stuff.
Indeed.
those are my thoughts. I'm probably going to go back to bed in a couple minutes here. I just got up to walk the animals and caught that you were live. My phone, I actually got a notification this time. So,
all right. Well, appreciate it as always. Thank you, DK.
all right, Zach. Talk to you later.
Yeah, take care, man.
Bye.
You gotta take care of the animals. That's all be me. Have to take care of the babies. All right. All right. Well, he called in near the end of my presentation, and let me just scroll down to the end. If you guys did get here late, I'd recommend rewinding. Yeah, he called in at pretty much the end. So don't forget that McDonald's equals 85, like Jesus Hominum Salvator equals 85. And again, Reagan, who Trump runs on his coattails, he won re-election in 84, the year Ray Kroc was killed, and then took office for his second term in 85. Yeah, again, if you're not aware with what they're doing with baseball and Grimace, here, Grimace, McDonald's character, all these things are connected. Hold on. Let me get the part about evil Grimace, the original character. Grimace, a purple monster, was originally an antagonist that stole beverages and shakes from customers, but has since become a good guy. Look at that. He was rebranded in 72 as the good guy. He started out as evil in 71, rebranded in 72, and now it's 72 years since the McDonald's logo was created. Isn't it something? Isn't that something? And again, just go back and look, all the purple stuff we covered with Trump in 2016, and then by the end of that year, Bill and Hillary are conceding to Trump wearing purple. Just pull it up. Prince dies, purple rain, just nobody catches on to any of it. Trump comes out to Queen, we are the here, you guys. If you go back and look, when Trump came out to Queen, we are the champions, it was on the anniversary of the San Ysidro massacre. It was July 18th, 2016. But notice how Trump equals 88, like purple equals 88, like Elizabeth equals 88. That's the queen who was alive at the time. Queen wears purple. Trump came out to Queen, we are the champions, and drew criticism for it. But that ritual was 88 days after the Queen's birthday. Prince died on the Queen's birthday. You see what I mean? 201 days later. That also means that Trump, you know, Trump's winner of the election and Bill and Hillary are wearing purple to concede 201 days from the Queen's birthday. And let's not forget the Queen died 201 days after her cooties diagnosis, and Corona means crown. And we said way before that happened that it was going to end with the royal family. That was part of the reason, you know, that it's funny that I never finished my book because I was just waiting for that to happen so I could document it. And then by the time that happened, I'd learned 5,000 new things. So I felt like I had to rewrite the book. And now I still haven't finished rewriting the book, but again, we've been ahead of the curve on all this stuff the whole time. So, all right, but I got to get back to the actual work that pays the bills, which sadly isn't telling the truth. Again, thank you to the people who did donate, though. But again, we can't fund this movement on doing life-changing live streams and me working 4 hours in the morning, all to raise $7, which is pretty much par for the course. So I got to go do the work for the rest of the day that pays the bills. But thank you to everyone who does support the work. I do appreciate it. And if only we could be funded the way all these fake shills that get tons of views on YouTube, and realize what the fake shills do. They're in the money, right? Just like politics is big money. They promote the politics. They promote the politicians. They act like they're about it. They act like, you know, voting for these frauds, these lesser of two evil is the real thing to do. You go against it, you're in the poorhouse. So anyway, time to go back to the real job. Thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. And yeah, please do clip parts of the video. I never see anybody do that. I keep asking. I wish people would clip their favorite parts of the video and help get it out there. So we'll see what day Trump ends up in the McDonald's. Is he going to do it today, Saturday? Or is he going to do it on Kamala's birthday tomorrow? Again, he said it's vague. He's going to be in a Philadelphia area McDonald's that his friend owns over the weekend. And that makes me think he's probably not going to be in any McDonald's in the Philadelphia area. We'll see. Probably be in a studio. Or who knows? They might. I guess the Secret Service can come down there and just shut down the McDonald's for the photo op. Bring in a few paid for actors. But yeah, if you missed this stream, you definitely should go back and watch. There's a lot of information here. And again, another reason to be prepared in case they do in your neighborhood what they just did to Cuba yesterday. So just scan it one more time to make sure we hit it all. It doesn't all start to make a lot more sense. Prince dead on 21/4. All synced up with Trump's big ritual. Purple Rain 58. Freemasonry Secret Society wins the 58th election. First degree's The Apprentice. By the way, his whole thing, "you're fired," and how he's been bringing that up a lot in speeches about how Joe and Kamala haven't fired anybody. It's like, oh, how about do a good enough job to hire the right people in the first place so you don't have to fire them from your administration? And I predicted this too, way back before he's president. I said, just wait till he's president. He'll be doing "you're fired" jokes. You're fired, 144 and 54, just like Jesuit order. So, all right. All right, we're out of here, Truth Seeker. Have a good rest of your day. And until next time.